points. The first would be hedge fund, because it is circulating a picture from the old presentation where we see clearly that the hedge fund homepage is the same as QubitTech homepage. So many people call us a copycat, a scam, that we are not here for a long time. And I like this to be proven that this is completely wrong, because as we have seen today in the presentation that Marc did, we have a completely different homepage now. We're having different products now, but how can we make sure?
Okay, if everyone could just put their phone on mute, because I don't know what it is, but I have like a lot of feedback and other conversations going on. Thank you. Okay, so let me put my camera on so you can absorb my facial expressions. Let me just say, as a general matter, 95% of the people on here, maybe 100%, coming from more of an MLM world than I am. And what I have learned very quickly is that this is, to me, all these negative articles and all this stuff is just never happened to me even one time in my career on Wall Street, even as slimy of a place as that is and can be. There seems to be this, next level of scum that comes to the surface in the multi-level marketing world. I don't mean it from the people like you. You guys are all pros. I have gotten to know almost each and every one of you, particularly those who showed up in Dubai that I didn't have physical experience with before, that are just amazing human beings. I've learned a lot. But there is this element out there, whether it's driven by competition, driven by fear, driven by the truth, I don't know. But they produce these articles and these statements out there, and they're usually coming from unhinged sources. They're not like sources that you could track back historically that make valid arguments and statements about the industry. They seem to actually fit like a very standard protocol in rhythmically inside of their written word. They cover like the same categories. I've seen them. All I can tell you is that this one group, MLM Minder or Finder or something like this, who started this original article maybe several months ago about the negativity about QubitTech. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a this, it's a that. Then it got cut and pasted into a bunch of others. I learned recently that the owner of that enterprise, who owns all the other ones as well, was arrested and thrown in jail for, and I can prove this, for extortion. And what they do is they print these articles, particularly with groups like us who are having success, and then they email you the article, not to mention publish it, and then say, if you don't give us 500,000 USD, we're going to continue to do this. We hired a lawyer. The lawyer had it taken down, that one article. Those guys were thrown in jail. They're now being prosecuted for extortion. This is the main guy behind it. There's an article in Germany that was written about this, and I can give this out to the group. So as a general rule, you have this like thing about multi-level marketing platforms. So that's number one. Number two, if you actually read the words and you read their description of the model, save some of the parts about binary bonus and things like that, they don't even get the model right. They don't even get the exact factual pattern of what we're doing right. And then I saw somebody sent me a link to some blogger who mentioned how we copied Quantum Fund and showed some similar pictures, and then a bunch of people emailed me, texted me, what's this, what's that? I didn't even just respond to everyone because it's just more of the same stuff. And then 24 hours later, somebody else sent me a videotape of the guy basically apologizing or something. I think Faith had a hand in that and kind of fought back, I think, to some degree. So as far as Quantum Fund, to answer you, Stefan, directly about that entity, I don't know it. I've never been involved in it. It preceded me The activity there predated me personally, Marc Swickle. I have never encountered or spoken to anyone from there. Every once in a while, this argument comes up that we copied them. I have never even gone to their website. However, unless somebody could show me that the Q phone, the P2P platform, our web app, our corporate license, our digital license, our patents, our copies of our papers, all of that make up our ecosystem are the same or even similar, I don't know what to say. I do know that there are similar pictures and there is a similar web design to that. When I inquired about that, I know that there were some overlap people from way back when that were part of that original company. I think maybe even Greg for a while did some work for them as an advisor, Greg Lyman, possibly. I've never even talked to him about it, to be honest with you. And they used a lot of the pictures the same. But the model, from what I understand, again, I haven't researched it because I really don't want to waste my time, is not the same. We are an entirely different company. Our people are different. You can just go and look and you can see that. Maybe earlier on there was some crossover. I know that from a web design thing, I'm not that guy, but a lot of companies use the same boilerplate like technology to launch their web page, and they can kind of cut and paste. I think somebody said the little robots look the same as their little robots. Well, those little robots are being used everywhere on the internet. Maybe we should change those little robots to look different or something like that. But I understand the group's concern. You're going to continue to hear these things. People are going to attack us. Articles are going to be written. People are going to say, you copied this, you copied that, anything to throw people off their game. And we're going to have to put together, I guess, maybe a little team that sits back and fires back, because I think that's maybe what this call really is about. Maybe not so much like we believe everything they're saying, but Mark, we have to deal with the fallout, because then we have to answer those from our downline, and then the downline stalls out. And I know it kind of creates like a tumbling effect. So I'm happy to always do these types of calls to answer it, but I think maybe there's got to be let's call it a group that kind of attacks back on our team, that monitors these things when they come in, and then we counter it. The best way to counter these types of things from a SEO, search engine optimization, is to produce positive articles, positive information, do positive types of webinars, and then slowly these things sort of go down. How can we stop it fully? You can't. I mean, every company in the history of man that's done well will always have somebody come up and say, oh, that was my idea. I mean, look what we went through with Teridian. We withstood a bunch of crazy allegations from them. And then I will share with you, I received notification that can somebody put their phone on mute? I don't know what that is in the background, but it's really distracting. I don't know who that is. Hello?
Bolat, can you please unmute yourself? Mute yourself, sorry. Bolat. Thank you.
So we have to have maybe internally we're going to have to put a sort of professional team together that does it. Now, hey, I will tell you this: we hired someone.
Come on, guys, mute, please. The host can mute everyone except for Mark.
I'm not the host, so I can't do that. Thank you. So we're gonna be able to work with this one guy, I think, out of Italy, that handles these types of issues, particularly in the multi-level marketing space. We've hired him. I think you'll start to see a lot of positive stuff coming out, truthful stuff, not just stuff to cover up the bad stuff, but real stuff. We have to do a better job of marketing ourselves through social media. Unfortunately, we're going to take these little small hits from jealous people and things of this nature. So I had been accused of by let's call it just say Teridian, I won't say who, and of being this and being that, and that I would be in jail by the end of Dubai. And then after I got out of jail in Dubai, when I returned to Thailand, I would go to jail. Of course, none of these things happened. The Dubai event went off smoothly. The government was behind it. The local officials were behind it. Even people in parts of the royal family there that knew about it supported it. We had an amazing, clean, a beautiful, uninterrupted event. I'm back in Thailand, and I am in a prison of sorts, but that's because of being quarantined, not for any other reason. And so, this stuff's going to happen. It bothers me. Trust me, I'm an executive in the company, and I know that it hurts you guys because you know what's going on and you don't want to deal with it. The job's hard enough, right, as it is, than to have these things. But we're blessed because you see people like in that second video that was sent to me. I think this guy sent it to me. He's in Africa, this other gentleman. And he first said, oh, what do we do about this? And then 24 hours, I didn't answer him. And then 24 hours later, he sent me, oh, it's been solved, right? Because people supported the company. So I'm happy to answer particular questions if you have them. That's just sort of a general statement to you guys. We're aware of all of this instantly. Sometimes we can correct it right away. Other times we need the community to help us do it like they did in this last example. But I can say affirmatively on the record, 100,000%, that Quantum Fund, which predated us, they were in existence first, 100%, has absolutely, to my knowledge, nothing to do with with QubitTech. Okay, they don't have our technology. They don't have any of the products and services that are ours. Okay, do they have something similar? Yes, but just by their very name, they're not the same. They call themselves a fund, Quantum Fund. We are not a fund. We are not a legally operating hedge fund. We make fintech. We patent it. We create licenses off the patent. We're going into gaming. We created our own phone. Here, ask me if they have this. This is our Q phone. I didn't show this today, but it works. It's something that we're using and we're experimenting with. If I can get it out of the box, we got to make a better box for this thing. But do they have this phone? You use your minds. Use your intellect. Don't just go off. Now you guys are going to say, "Oh, he doesn't have a phone. It's just a box. It's not a real phone."
I get your point.
Here you see, phone, Q phone, and all the things that come with it. There's even a cleaning thing in here, and it works. And so, so anyway, if you get the point, that's fine. I want to make sure you get the point because I have to, and I don't mind, I have to answer these questions day in and day out. And I'm the first person they run to. And I want to make sure you're happy, Stefan. I know you're putting your face out there, your reputation. Everyone on here is doing that, including me. So if you're concerned about things being real or not, to the extent that you know me or don't know me or want to get to know me, I can promise you the last thing I need at 51 years old, after completing a career as decent as mine has been in the past, I don't need to be part of anything silly. I can do all of that silliness all on my own. I don't need help. So let's keep talking. Let's keep answering questions and things like that. But, we are on to really big things. That's all I can tell you.
Thanks, Mark. As I say, I get your point. Hedge fund is one thing. The other thing is picture that is going around from a letter from Toridian that CTO Pearl Lind is denying any involvement in QubitTech, which I know he was on the beginning, which Queen Vicky explained clearly on her video, which I, as I say, really loved it. The other thing is certain Pavel Radek, who sent a message out saying that Ernst & Young was never the audit company of QubitTech, which again, on the beginning when I started, it was promoted with Ernst & Young as a partner. Now it's not. So I guess these are all partners that was before with QubitTech in the beginning, maybe advising them, maybe for a certain time, like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, contract expires. My question is not that I doubt QubitTech. My question is how can we make sure that if something like that is coming out, we can get out with a statement, with an official statement to, give them back, say, listen, it's not like this. This is the official statement. You have the possibility now to believe what you want. I'm going with QubitTech. I'm 100% behind it. If somebody still believes on the red flags, then that's their problem, not my problem. But somehow, how can we do that? That it's for us a little bit easier. Like you say, maybe a group that is targeting this kind of negative news that we get online.
Okay, so I agree with everything you just said. And I will just address one point because you opened the door, so let me close it. So you made one specific example point, and then you were speaking generally about maybe a path forward, like on how to counter these things. And the answer to that is already in play. We have a group who we've hired that is professional at this exact, let's call it black marketing, right? That's really what they call this, as I've learned. It even has its own industry. But we are going to be very aggressive in countering this type of behavior. And I also will be pursuing, when it's appropriate, legal action against groups or individuals that act this way. So let's, the Toridian message out there is an absolute and utter fabrication. If I wanted to tomorrow, I could begin publishing public news about certain individuals in that company that could unwind them. But I'm not going to go tit for tat. We've decided to take the higher road. We don't need to waste our time with people like this. Toridian had a contract. I have that contract. I negotiated that contract. I witnessed its signature. Toridian produced a report based on that contract. I have that report, the content of which it's about 60% okay. The other 40% is just fluff that they wrote, that they were paid to write. We've had that report reviewed by very bright people in the industry, and they say it's okay. It's a decent report. Basically says that our quantum technology and our current trading technology is sufficient to move forward. In fact, Scott Forshaw and Perlin took that information and published every single day on LinkedIn recommendations about buying and selling crypto based on quantum technology, of which they learned that information from us. Prior to their relationship with us, they never, ever were involved in anything having to do with trading using quantum technology. They were nobody. Nobody knew their name. Nobody knew who they were. And instantly 50, 60,000 users knew who they were because of us, because we promoted them within the company. And instead of signing a second contract and moving to the next level, they decided to hijack us in that moment and say, if you don't sign this contract and take this money and give us this money, we're taking our brain power away. And it was made for two reasons internally, not to succumb to this type of negotiation. And we said, if you reward this behavior now, they will only come back harder the next time. So we said, thank you very much for our report. The contract is over. We do not need your help anymore. See you. I was part of those conversations. I was on nearly every one of those calls. So from me, not from anyone else, I can look you in the eye or the virtual eyes and tell you that those guys did not want to go to the next step with us. Instead, they wanted to just get a big fat paycheck. And we said, no, that's it. Finished, end of conversation. Nobody did anything wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. We didn't do anything wrong. We walked away. But instead, members of that company decided that that wasn't enough, that they were going to spend the next 30, 60, 90 days, whatever it was, attacking us. They ran out of ammunition. They ran out of things to say. They ran out of false threats. And I can tell you, again, looking you in the eye, hand on a proverbial stack of Bibles, that a criminal charge was made against one of those members in a Scandinavian country, based on a phone that was used to attack one of the members of our company. And ever since then, it's been very quiet from this person. We will fight. You may not hear about it. If we have a legal grounds to go against somebody who hurts us, we will do it. And we will not take any pause in that action. We may not tell you about it, but I can tell you we will defend ourselves. Now, the final piece I would like to address, so that you brought it up, was the Ernst & Young audit letter. Let me try to take a step back. In any video or talking point that you would have heard from me, I made it very clear that this was an audit letter. The letter described how you do an audit, rules of engagement. I don't know if anybody's been through an audit before at a corporate level, but usually what you do is you pick an auditor, and the auditor writes an audit letter to you saying, we're going to use this methodology to look through your books and records, and then you guys sign off on it, okay? That's what that letter was. And it was from Ernst & Young, and it was from out of I believe it was the Czechoslovakia office that it came from. This letter was in the system before I came into the company, before Greg came into the company, before any of the management team that is here was in the company. And it was part of an original employee who was asked to do something for the company, give us a list of names of auditors, research them, and provide for us the best auditor that you could find, and blah, 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 blah. This person, whom I've never met, did that. And apparently this person put on there, inappropriately, let's say, acquired the letter, okay? We thought that we had an arrangement based on this person. After doing some due diligence and some research, we found out that that was not correct, because Greg and I asked to go back through some of the documents and along with the other members of the team, and we found out that the letter was not appropriate. We pulled it down. We spoke to Ernst & Young about it. We talked to them directly. When Scott Forshaw from Teridian found out about this, he then called the gentleman in Czechoslovakia. He started tape recording his conversations with him. He said, is this your signature? Did you do this? Did you do that? He made him write an email. He took the email. He published the email on the website. This is all coming from Teridian. They cannot walk away from the situation. I have been in law. I have been in business for 30 years. If you have a claim against someone, if you have a complaint against someone, if you have a substantive cause, you go to a lawyer, you say to him, here is my case. I've been harmed. I've been wronged. I've been damaged. Please help me. Teridian, on any number of occasions, could have gone to an international lawyer. They could sue us. They could sue us personally. They could sue us corporately. They could challenge us, but they didn't do any of that. What did they do? They acted like a bunch of little children, and they publish these fake articles and fake news. They make up stories, and it causes me to spend time like I am now unwinding this stuff where it's not true. I think the only thing that was a bit of a black eye to us was this, admittedly, is this little audit letter, but it's not illegal. Nobody did anything wrong. Nobody said that it's a full audit. Nobody said Ernst & Young audited us. There is no basis for moving forward buying a digital license because somebody had an audit letter. But it was not an accurate document. It was immediately pulled back off the site, and we cleared that with them directly. So for me, I'm fine with it. If someone in the community does not want to continue on with QubitTech, wants their money back because wants their digital license money back because of the audit letter not being accurate, then they can come forward and say, only reason why I joined QubitTech and bought a digital license is because I thought there was an audit letter in place. And now that I know that there's not this audit letter at that time, I want my money back. Let them come forward and say that, and we're happy to satisfy that. But typically, from speaking to people, no one even really cares about it. So I think that pretty much covers all I have to say about that. And if there are any other questions you can have, or any comments, or somebody wants to add or take away from that, I'm happy to listen to.
Hey, thanks, Mark, again. From my side, this actually covers most of the things that I actually like to know about. I like to repeat myself again. I'm 100% behind QubitTech. I know that many things has changed, that many new products has been added and new products will be added.
Yeah.
But I'm just really like to have it here from the corporate side. So I asked my team to join. A few are here, a few are not here. But it makes me just believe even stronger into QubitTech, and I will go forward with it. I never doubt it.
Yeah, and you're allowed to have doubts. It's okay to come on here and say those things cause doubts. I could see that. I could see where that happened. Part of my job in the past when I ran my own hedge fund is I did corporate governance and compliance. And, people hear, see, and feel things. They read things. These are all, I hope, I don't want anybody to misunderstand me. I'm not here saying, how dare you ask these questions, or what nerve you have. No, the opposite. If you've heard from me before, I've always said due diligence, trust but verify. It's your job to do this. And Stefan, I commend you actually for putting this call together and leading the charge. That's what real leadership looks like. That's what community looks like, and that's what trust and verification looks like. We should always be doing these things. I have to do it myself. I'm not running the company all on my own. There are other members, and as they say, shit happens, and you have to deal with it. I have to deal with it. We have to deal with it as a community. But when we have calls like this, it gives me faith that people aren't just secretly or quietly reacting to something they hear. Rather, they're concerned and they want to know answers to questions. So I'm happy to have these calls. No problem.
Thanks again, Mark. So for me, as I say, if somebody else like to ask something, I have everything that I need. And I appreciate you taking the time, Mark, then, and everyone else. Thanks again, and looking forward to a successful end of 2020.
I can just actually add as well, thank you very much, Mark, for that. I did know most of this information previously firsthand, actually, and it's it's really amazing, actually, and we appreciate that you are able to help us with this, so the community to understand everything as well. Thanks.
No problem. Anyone else? Any other comments or questions or concerns or anything like that? Let me know. Okay, fair enough. So if that's all, Stefan, I appreciate your time again.
Thank you, Mark, so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming. And we'll talk soon. All right, guys? Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mark.
Cheers.
Thank you, team.